Hello everyone, I am Gunashekharan here. I welcome you all to my YouTube channel once again. And in our previous classes, we learned about what are pharmaceuticals and what are drugs. In continuation to that, today we are going to learn about what are brand drugs and generic drugs. What are the basic difference between brand drug and generic drug? Why the term has been coined in such a way? And let us break down and understand the similarities, differences and the impact it is creating in the market. Let me take you all through the topic. Brand drug and generic drugs. As usual, let us recap chapter number 2. What are brand drugs? What are generic drugs? Generic is equivalent to brand. Why? How? Let us see one by one. An example of brand drug and generic drug. Basic difference between brand and generic. Benefits of brand and generic drugs. Global generic drug market players. And review of chapter number 3. As usual, let us do a quick recap. All the medicines are drugs, but not all the drugs are medicines. First one. Second one, what are drugs and what are medicines? How the drug influence human body in both physiologically and psychologically. Also, origin and evolution of drugs, types of dosage form, types of drugs, classification of drugs. Let us get into the topic of brand drug and generic drug. Let us understand what are called brand drugs first. Brand drugs. Brand drugs are also called innovator drug or patented drug. What are innovator drugs? Why it is called innovator drug? Innovator may be an individual or research organization or a pharmaceutical company who build the molecule from the scratch with the innovative idea, means creation of an idea till the product marketed, till the product get approval and marketed. Those are called innovator drugs. And patented drugs. What are patented drugs? The same innovator molecule or a brand molecule which has been applied for a patent in a government authority to get an exclusive right granted for their invention. Okay, those are called patented drugs. Let us go into the topic one by one. Okay, brand drugs are the drugs which develops, patents and market the drug by a pharmaceutical company. What is patent? As I said, exclusive right granted for their invention. The first one, develops, means development of new molecule, how they develops. Okay, so it starts from drug discovery and then preclinical testing and then IND has to be submitted. IND is an investigational new drug which we'll see in upcoming topics. And then clinical trials, phase 1, 2 and 3. There are 4 phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. That are out of that, first 3 phases of study should be done before the molecule enters into the market. Okay, and then after the completion of these clinical trial phases, you will have enough data to state your drug is safe for human consumption. Okay, and then entire data need to be submitted for regulatory review and approval. Once the regulatory given approval, then the product can be manufactured and commercialized into the market. During that particular phase of time, once the product enter into the market, then the clinical study which carried out is called phase 4, that is post market surveillance study. And phase 4 has to be done in a long term to understand the risk and benefits, and also to discover the rare side effect it creates. This drug discovery process will begin with the identification of potential target, which is a molecule or a biological pathway involved in disease process. First one. And the second thing is, the researchers will start synthesizing, developing the molecule or a lead compound which will go and interact with this particular target pathway and modify its activity. In a preclinical testing or research where the researchers conduct extensive laboratory and animal studies to evaluate pharmacological properties, and this stage involves pharmacokinetics studies as well, that is commonly absorption, distribution, metabolism and excretion of the particular compound, and also pharmacodynamics, the mechanism of action. The mechanism of action we have seen in the last chapter as well. And then, as I said, IND, investigational new drug application, where the pharmaceutical or a researcher have to submit the IND application to the regulatory authorities. And then clinical trials, phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3. The clinical trials are conducted in human volunteers for the safety and efficacy study. Clinical trial phase 1, small scale trials involving healthy volunteers to assess the product's safety, dosage and potential side effects. It can be tested in a very minimal group of population, around 22 to 80 volunteers. And then phase 2, that is slightly a larger volume of population can be selected and tested to assess the efficacy and to evaluate its safety. Clinical trial phase 3 can be conducted in a larger group of population to assess the safety and efficacy of the product and also for the long-term effects. And then we have to combine all these data and submit to the regulatory agency in the name of NDA, that is New Drug Application Submission. Later, regulatory will do review, and if there is any query, they will raise a query, and then we have to address all those. And once all the queries are addressed, and if the regulatory agency is satisfied with the enough objective evidences submitted, then they may grant an approval for the product, and then innovator can commercialize the product into the market. And then patent the products. Why the patent to be done? The patent to be done to protect their investment and innovation, because they have invested lot of time in inventing that molecule, and that is a new molecule, brand new molecule that is going to treat some disease. To safeguard their innovation, they have to submit a patent application in the government agency to obtain the patent for the particular drug. And then patented drugs are sold under a specific brand name. They will create a brand name for that particular molecule, and that has to be chosen by the pharma company or a researcher who invented that particular molecule. No other company can produce or sell the same drug until the patent expires. Usually government gives 20 years of patent from the date of filing. And then pharma company can develop the marketing strategy to promote their product into the market, and they can recoup all the cost they have invested for a research and development. Recoup in the sense they can recover all the amount, as well as they can make enough margin and profit. Generic drugs. Generic drugs are identical and bioequivalent to brand drug. These drugs should be identical to the brand drug and also bioequivalent to the brand drug. What is that bioequivalent is? The same active pharma ingredient should have been used, and the slight change in the formulation should not cause any change. It should have the same effect as those of brand drug, including its pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic studies. Generic version of the brand can be developed, and it should meet the bioequivalency study, and then those products can be marketed. Selection and developing. bioequivalent study, regulatory submission and review, and regulatory approval. Selection and developing, yes, we have seen enough on that, and bioequivalent study also I have just explained and clarified. With respect to regulatory submission, in this one, with respect to brand, we have submitted in the name of NDA, new drug application. In this one, we have to submit the application in the name of ANDA, that is abbreviated new drug application. Similar to brand drug, all the formulation changes, bioequivalency study reports, everything should be compiled and submitted to regulatory agency for their review. If any queries raised by regulatory agency has to be addressed, and then they will give an approval. After obtaining an approval, the product can be manufactured and distributed and marketed. The patent is applicable only for the brand drugs, not for the generic version. These generic version can be produced after patent got expired or when an additional exclusivity granted gets over, and then the application should be submitted in the name of ANDA, and once after receiving an approval, the product can be manufactured and distributed. Now you may have a question. Brand drug has clinical trials and more data on safety and efficacy and everything. In generic version, for a generic drug, what we are doing is a bioequivalency study we are doing, and these both should not have any impact. These both are same. That's what we are going to see now. Here I have mentioned mirror image, and also this side, if you read it from the right to left, it has a same impact. So mirror image. Can you just see any differences? Yes, of course there is a difference. When you just look your face in the mirror, it will reflect the same. So this is what the brand and generic is all about. If you just see in this picture also, it reflects the same. So this is brand and this is generic. Generic drugs are copies of brand name drugs that have exactly the same API, same dosage form we have studied in chapter number 2, and same strength. Yes, I will explain in my upcoming classes. Route of administration also we have discussed in our earlier class. What are the route of administration? Through oral and IV. IM is intravenous, IM is intramuscular, right? There are various route of administration. And intended use, the product has to meet the purpose what it is being manufactured for. So generic is equal to brand. That's what this particular image signifies. So it should meet the same quality and performance. There should not be any difference. By this we are ensuring the generic provides the same therapeutic equivalence to the brand drug. However, they may differ in inactive ingredients such as fillers or binders. These are excipients which can be added and can be changed as a part of their formulation change, whereas the API should not get changed. In other words, their pharmacological effects are same as those of brand name counterparts. Pharmacological effect, this pharmacology I have explained in the chapter number 1. So here I have chosen a very common name, as most of us aware, Brufen. Brufen is a brand name for a medication containing the active pharma ingredient ibuprofen. The most common are Brufen, its earlier registered trademark in the name of Advil, Motrin and Nurofen. Here I have chosen some examples for brand name and generic name. Motrin, as I mentioned, it gets started selling in the market in the name of ibuprofen, its chemical name itself. Nexium in the name of esomeprazole. Pepsid, its generic name is famotidine. Diflucan, its generic name is fluconazole. Brand name Flonase. Generic name fluticasone propionate. Brand name Zyzal. Generic name levocetirizine dihydrochloride. And then difference between brand and generic. In brand, we are conducting preclinical studies and we are submitting IND, that is investigational new drug application should be submitted. In generics, we have to do bioequivalence study, and in brand drugs we have to patent the molecule, and here no patent is required, because once the patent gets expired of a brand, then only we are manufacturing generic. We are submitting application to the agency in the name of NDA, new drug application, and here for the generic version we are submitting application in the name of ANDA, abbreviated new drug application. And here, since they have invested their time and crores of money, and for clinical trials and for each and every reasons, their product cost would be very high. Whereas in this one, if you just see, the cost would be very affordable and minimal. They are commonly called as innovator drug. Innovator owns the right, and they are the only one can manufacture the drug product till the patent get expired. Here, once the patent get expired, any manufacturer can come in and they can formulate. If regulatory grant and approval, then they can start manufacturing the drug product. Inactive ingredients and excipients may vary. Benefits, let's see benefits one by one. Benefits of brand drugs: reliability and consistency. Since the clinical trial has been fully conducted, that particular product, and for its consistency, we can confident that exact same medication is every time, because whenever we consume the same drug, we can be very confident that we are taking a same medication. Manufactured in controlled environment with strict quality standards. Can trust that the medication we are taking is safe and effective. Long track record of use than generic drugs. Why they mention this particular statement, long track record of use? Because for the 20 years they are holding that particular patent. During that time, they are the only one who manufactured that particular drug. So to state and ensure that the brand drugs are safe enough. More data availability about their safety and effectiveness. Benefits of generic drugs: more affordable options, contain same active ingredients as brand name drugs, same effective as of brand, but cost is less, often more accessible, only bioequivalent study has to be performed, can be brought to market more quickly. Patient can get medication they need sooner without having to wait expensive brand drugs to become available. There are so many generic drug market players are playing a major role globally. Let's see one by one. Cipla, Aurobindo Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, Stada, Alchem Laboratories Limited, Hikma Pharmaceuticals, Teva Pharmaceutical, Sovai Pharmaceutical, Mylan, Malincrot, Lupin Limited, Torrent Pharmaceutical, Endo International, Amneal Pharmaceutical. Finally, equivalency. Brand drug offers reliable and consistency, where generic drug provides affordability and accessibility. It is reliable and provides same therapeutic effect all the time in a consistent manner. This generic drug we are getting in an affordable cost, and it is very accessible. Since multiple market players can manufacture the same drug, it is very accessible as well. Let's do a quick review. What are brand and generic? Basic differences. What are the basic differences? As we studied, we will just go through a couple of things. In brand, we are filing as NDA, here ANDA, here clinical trials, here bioequivalent studies. Same API should be used in both the manufacturing. Same API should be used. Different inactive ingredient and excipients like binders, fillers, and we learned what is IND, examples, brand and generic both should produce same therapeutic effect, or we can say the generic should produce the same therapeutic effect as similar to brand drug. Same API, same dosage form, similarities. We are looking at similarities. Same dosage form, same route of administration, intended use, and then what are patents, how many years, or what is innovator drug and patented drug, and then global drug market. Continue watching our channel to get the regular updates. The next topic is going to be drug development process, and then we will straight away enter into our PQS, pharmaceutical quality system, and then GMP, and then data integrity. Thank you for your time. Please utilize this platform for your learning purpose. Thank you everyone.